Hello, everybody. Good Thursday evening. I got myself cameraed out here. Hang on, my bad. My bad. We don't want to hide my face. Y'all might think I got beat up today. Oh, goodness. No, I'm still here safe and sound, all by myself. Well, my family's here. My wife's here. How you guys doing? It's good to see everybody coming in. We're going to watch some trial here together. Hello, Gwen Jenkins. How are you tonight? Purple Hearts, how are you? Penelope, Chaotic Beauty and Crime, E Squared, who knows? Angela Green, Bo Owls, Becca, how are you guys doing? Kane, what's up? He does bully women, doesn't he? Purple Hearts does bully women a lot. Jules Jade, how are you doing? 19 Thumper 92, how's it going? I might have missed a few more there. Sorry if I did. Becca, April, Britt, how are you guys? We won't chat too much before we get right into the trial. Then we can chat after the trial a little bit, talk a little bit about what we see and what we think. I think tonight was pretty big. Hello, country girl. How are you? Mama Steph, good evening. Hakuna Matata, how are you? So I hope everybody's had a wonderful Thursday. My Thursday has been pretty good. I didn't watch a lot of YouTube today, so and thankfully I didn't get sent a whole lot. I know it's out there. Hello, Kemper 101. How are you? And I think that might be a fun account, so just leave it alone. Not taking the jab. He's hardworking boy mowing a yard at the time. A hat, alligator teeth, something. Hang on a second. Let me read this. Got a hat like urn, alligator teeth and all. Too bad all that fat. Oh, shows up to mow. People wearing his bra. He is. Listen, and I recently found out that was his means of paying his bills or money. So my question is, then why in February were we raising money for you? Or was it early March? Either way, it was very cold. Grass wasn't growing. You wasn't mowing grass. So I don't understand why we were raising money for you, but it's neither here nor there, I guess. We did, and I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed that $100 because you ain't going to use it for diesel fuel to come see me, are you? We all know the truth on that one, homeboy. All right, let's watch some trial. You guys want to throw some hearts up in chat if you want to watch some trial? I've got a playlist ready, and we'll see what we can do. We'll get right into it. Watch some trial, and Hello, Jenny Penny. How are you? Certified. Hello. Gina M. How are you doing? Here comes some hearts. Guess we want to see some trial coverage. All right. Now last night we saw some pretty good stuff, and tonight we're going to see the um, not the medical examiner. That's what we left off on last night. The coroner. Coroner. Yeah, that old brain fog gets me, and it's that memory issues I have. And boy, people really like to get you on that. Let's go here. Let me pull up this trial. Let me hit the CC button so we can maybe catch a little bit more. Go over here, StreamYard, share screen. Yeah, I'm still talking to myself and still working on it. Oh, let me make sure that's where we're at here. Where were we at? Where we leave off last night? Saw that. We saw that. I think this might be the next up in the playlist. This is almost a 10-minute video. Let me share this screen here. Can you guys see that? I'm going to make it bigger, of course. And I'm going to figure out how we did that last night. Let's see, there was that. Take down the comment so you guys can see a little better. I'm going to mute myself and we're going to start the trial. Oh my goodness. Thank you, 616 Love. Facts, and more facts. I appreciate that so much. You are very generous, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. As long as there's a case for one. Yeah. Take the court. Yeah.
Well, it came back on. Yeah. What we do?
Just stipulate the chain of custody for items not in home. There aren't any challenges.
I think that's what he's talking about. Right, chain of custody of the items found.
And just in the interest of judicial economy.
Right. It's fairly routine. I mean, you get the stuff in discovery and you get the chance to go through it. And
We've been to the house.
I've seen it time and time again. It's just, they have a ministerial duty to lock, put them in the evidence locker and that kind of thing. So,
we also have a duty to our client to have.
I know, I understand that. I understand
This
that.
is not a possibility that we were going to advocate at it. So.
No, and it's not a tactic. It's a time saving. A tool that's, unless there's some real dispute about, the chain, it's often stipulated.
Does that include chain of custody for the items that were collected at the postmortem?
If you have Sergeant Pickle here.
We can bring her out. She's here,
Is.
but she's here. If you'll recall from the.
She is Sarge. She's Lieutenant Joseph now.
She's Lieutenant and Joseph.
You might want, when we take a break, you might want to speak with her, sit down, speak with her, and to go through that informally. Just check with her, anyway, whatever you want.
We can bring her out for you. And while we're waiting to do that, can we move on to the second issue?
What is that?
The court entered an omnibus, an order on the omnibus motion. One of those issues was for us to refrain, we have, from speaking about gun until it was time to start putting on evidence about gun.
I need some context, some evidentiary context for that.
Can I give you that? The
Well,
reason why you don't have it is because we haven't had witnesses testify to it. But
right, yeah.
If you want me to, the only reason I hesitate is because I'm afraid when they start testifying, then there will be an objection. We talked about this.
Well, I thought in the order just to approach before you get to that point,
Well,
as you get to that point?
We will be there, 2 witnesses in, and there will not be any mention of a gun until there's a mention of a gun. To give the court just a brief overview, if I may, we have shown that the victim died of a gunshot. Bullet was found and recovered. The first individual that will speak about a gun is Ernie Shell, the defendant's brother, who will state that he witnessed the defendant while he was telling him that he killed Ronnie King with a gun, that he was holding it, that it was a Smith & Wesson revolver, that he had a file, that he was taking the file and running it through the barrel, okay? All of this concurrently with, as he'll tell you, and the jury can believe him or
I
not.
recall that from one of the hearings.
Right, jury can believe it or not, I mean, it is what it is, but he says he had a gun. He asked me to bring a file. I didn't know what for. When I got there, I kind of figured it out when he started telling me he killed Ronnie King. And then I witnessed him use a file to try and clear the barrel. The next witness that will talk about the gun is James Collins, who will reference a gun both on Shelby Shell's person, while Shelby again was stating to him that he had killed Ronnie King, that the gun was around while these conversations were going on. So that's where we're getting on. And the reason why it's relevant is because the killing of Ronnie King occurred with firearm. Shelby Shell, our evidence in good faith, they probably listened to the tape recorders. We have witnesses who we believe are going to say that Shelby Shell told them that he killed Ronnie King.
And your objection was that there's no ballistic match.
There's specifically a report from the forensic lab that the gun that was collected, the gun they have in evidence, was not fireable at the time, they had to clean it, and then there was no match to it.
The gun you have evidence that you've been after the gun was recovered.
Right, the gun was recovered.
It wasn't fireable after it was recovered.
From Mr. Shell's truck, which isn't part of the evidence.
Yeah, we haven't gotten to that evidence yet.
Okay, was that the gun that he was filing down the ridges and valleys?
As far as the story goes, I would say no, but there's not proof of that either way.
I'm gonna let it in for now, and if it's have a problem with it later, I'll entertain another motion
Let
to
me
strike.
strongly object to that also, Major versus Commonwealth, and I will get you the site, which says that a gun that was used, in another case, was a gun that one of the defendants had. Yeah. This is the KSP.
If you'll notice on the KSP report there, the laboratory says they cannot rule it out, and they cannot say that it was it.
But at the bottom, it says it wasn't.
I.e., they can't prove it. Yeah, there's no gun, that's the gun in the case.
And that's an absurd.
And our
Someone-
client is also
when
charged with
evidence-
committing felon in possession by
Let me
handgun.
read this, Rick. What's the date when was this recovered from the car?
I want to say February 26th, but I'm not, I don't have that.
And this analysis took place in April.
Yes. And if I might add, Judge, keep in mind, I've just stated to the court, we're going to have testimony that a witness says that this individual was taking a file and running it down the barrel of a firearm. Now, an inference could be made that that was done in an event to conceal the ability of the firearm to be matched and to allow a defendant to purposefully, do action like that and then remove the firearm because it's not definitively matched, but it is also not definitively excluded.
No,
But even if we
we
don't, even getting past the issue of this specific weapon and evidence, right now, we're simply talking about the mentioning of a gun. Our witnesses are going to be stating that he had a gun and he was using a file. So if the court wants to withhold its ruling on this gun specifically or this report specifically until we get some more evidence in, then I think.
Let's do that. That'd be fine. My tendency is let it in, but let's wait and see.
Well, I think that would be the ultimate
Yeah.
solution personally. However, I just didn't want to get in trouble with the court. I had my witnesses say, we have a gun, and then there's that the orders as I mentioned.
I remember your objection that had to do with relevancy. I found a case on other acts, it's a McQueen case where a gun was seen on a table, defendant's residence. The court said absolutely that's admissible. It doesn't tend to prove that they're bad people or good people or whatever.
Well, Major versus Commonwealth involved illegal robbery, and the evidence was an older model gun that wasn't used in the robbery. And the court said that was inadmissible, needed to be excluded, and it was reversed.
Key there being it wasn't used. We don't know what that gun was or was not used. It was neither confirmed nor denied.
Too dirty to fire until they disassembled it, cleaned it, and tested it.
You got a cite for me?
I do, I'll have to.
Well, I need to read it. And and after a while, we'll take a break and I'll
To
read
make
it.
it clear though, we're not yet to that point,
No,
correct?
yeah.
We're going to be talking about a gun without,
I would object to Jimbo and you bringing up a gun until the court is ruled on.
That's their
The other
test.
thing is
That's
that
their
part of the
test.
testimony is better than and keep it charged for the leak.
Look, that's where we're going. That's where we're going, okay? All right. So,
we may proceed.
you may proceed, yeah. I mean,
I will go, if you're not going to back with me, this year more, Mr. Simon, as, Joseph, Lieutenant Joseph.
Do you have two attorneys
Hmm?
and you're not person?
Are we ready to get the jury seated?
They're looking at the evidence list.
Two things.
All right, we moved on to another video. This was about 18 minutes long. This is bringing in the jury here. Wonder why they objected to me testifying about a gun before I ever testified about a gun. Oh, Shelby.
All right, be seated, please. Morning, folks. Anything to report to me? Any communications made to you or attempted? All right, hearing nothing, we'll be ready to move on.
Yes, Your Honor,
Yes, sir.
we're ready.
All right, go ahead and call your next witness.
Jerry Mulkey.
Jerry Mulkey. So name of the G or J?
Okay.
J. Mulkie.
It's in
EY.
Y. Your Honor, I'll ask you to spell it, but
All right,
I
I've
understand it's with a Y. Mulkey.
Hey, man, Ms. Mulkey, your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that any testimony you give in this trial will be the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Have a seat there. Speak loudly and clearly.
Ms. Mulkey, would you tell the ladies and gentlemen, the jury, your name and how it's spelled?
Jerry Mulkey, JERRIMULKEY.
And where do you live, Ms. Mulkey?
I live at Everett's.
Will you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury how you knew Ronnie King?
He's my brother.
How many were in your family?
I have, you mean the deceased or count me?
Brothers and sisters, just deceased as well.
Well, I have, let's see, I have 3 sisters living, 2 sisters deceased. And I have 2 brothers living now. And Ronnie, my brother, he's dead. And then I had another brother to die long ago, and then another brother. So that was 5 brothers.
Do you recall the last time you talked to your brother, Ronnie King?
Yes.
Can you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury about that conversation?
Well, I called him. It was February the whatever that day before he was murdered. We were talking that evening.
Was it,
And
you
that's
say
the
it's in
last-
the evening?
Yeah, it was evening because it was kind of at the edge of dark.
Okay.
I mean, he
You were
was,
talking to him on the telephone?
yes.
And you talked to him many times, I guess.
Oh, I always talk to him on the phone. He either called me or I called him.
So you were talking to him on the phone, and what happened?
He said, I'll call you back in a few minutes. Somebody's at the door.
And did he indicate who that was?
He said, Dixon.
Dixon. And did you tell the police? He said Dixon was at the door.
Yes.
And who is Dixon?
Kevin Dixon back in, I didn't know him I'd heard his name before, but I never did know.
Well, we're just asking what Ronnie King.
I just said
to you on the
Dixon's
phone.
at the door and I'll call you back in a little bit. Cause that's how he always did when somebody came over or something, he would tell me, call me back. And he usually called me back, but he didn't call me back.
And you understood that to be Dixon?
Yeah, I
Kevin?
understood it be Kevin Dixon because that's what I found.
That's all, Your Honor.
That's all you're direct.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Did you attempt to call back Mr. King that evening?
Ms. Cameron, I want to
Yes.
ask you to
I'm
speak
sorry,
up
I'm
just
not
a
very
little.
loud. I
All
just
right,
realized
thank
that.
you.
I think I tried to call back, yes.
Do you recall trying to make any calls the morning of the, I think it was President's Day, February 18th?
To my brother,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. No,
Did you,
unless I dialed his number after my sister called down and told me that he wasn't up or at work or wasn't getting ready for work. He was, she called me and left me a message and said that something was wrong. He didn't come over, and it scared me, and I jumped up, and I possibly might have rung his number. But if I did, there wasn't an answer.
and did you live really close to Ronnie?
I live about a block from him.
Okay. And you talked to him the evening before he died,
Yes,
and he said Kevin Dixon was there.
he said Dixon.
Dixon was there,
He said Dixon at the door.
and you took that to mean Kevin Dixon,
Yes,
and you reported that to police.
yes.
And did you see any cars or anything driving by that evening? Did you look out your window?
No,
That's all.
I did. I wasn't at my home that evening. I went up and was over at my mother's yard, waiting on everything to get done when they was bringing my brother out dead. I wasn't at my home.
Okay. That evening, after he died.
Well, after they took him out, I went home, but I never saw any cars. I guess my mind, I don't know how that many years back, I didn't see any cars. I wasn't paying no attention. I was just upset and hurt over my brother.
That's all the questions I have. Okay, thank you.
Any redirect?
Just one, Your Honor. Yeah. Of course, this has been 6 years ago.
Yes,
And Detective Cornett is going to testify, or has testified, and it's in his report that you told him that when you answered the phone, that when you talked, he said, "Someone's here, it's Kevin Dixon." Now, that's what the detective,
when
do you remember exactly how it was?
he said Dixon, but I could have told the detective Kevin Dixon because that's the only Dixon I ever heard.
And could he have said, "It's Kevin Dixon"?
It's possible, but he said Dixon.
Did you know Kevin Dixon?
No, I don't. I didn't know him. I had heard of him through family members, but my nephew and all them, but I never knew him. I never had met him.
Thank you, that's all.
Any recross?
One last question, because they came up. Did Ronnie ever speak to you about Kevin Dixon?
No,
He never reported to you that Kevin was suicidal or had any marital issues? You never had any discussions about Kevin?
no.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Anything else?
No, sir.
May this witness be excused?
Yes. And as a member of the family, we'd ask that she be allowed to sit in the courtroom.
All right. Ma'am, you're excused. You won't be recalled. If you want to sit in the courtroom, you may.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you have anything back on?
Yes.
Okay. If you want to go around and get it, come back around. Come through this way. Yes, ma'am. All right, I'll be there.
Next witness.
Yes.
Your Honor, Commonwealth calls Mike Horton back to the stand.
All right.
Thank you, Hakuna Matata and Penelope. Thank you. Here
You're still
comes
on the
Detective
oath.
Cornett back to the witness stand.
Cornett, I got some questions for you first, dealing with yesterday, we covered the Kentucky State Police investigation of a death that had occurred in Everett, Kentucky. We talked about your presence there and your involvement in the investigation. And later testimony was heard about an autopsy medical examination, okay? The court and counsel for defendant, counsel for prosecution have discussed the issues and giving the voluminous nature of the items taken at those locations. At this point in time, I'm going to request that do you have the evidence with you?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. Is it segregated into evidence that was taken at the crime scene and at the autopsy? And if not, can you do that prior to bringing it out?
Yes, it should be all individually bagged from separate locations, maybe even as much as separate items for
Okay.
the most part.
Okay, great. Well, then at this point in time, I'm going to ask that you retrieve the evidence that was taken from the residence and the autopsy. And we're going to present that to the court. Your Honor, given the nature of the evidence in terms of the number of items, I think that if counsel has no objection, we'll simply label them Commonwealth's cumulative, and I don't know what the next number is. 6, Commonwealth's cumulative 6 for the residents, and Commonwealth's cumulative 7 for the autopsy.
All right.
Could you retrieve those?
Yes, sir. It'll take me just a little bit to get everything organized.
Okay, Judge, could we, while he does that, because this is a necessary portion, we have to admit evidence, I would request a brief recess, a 10-minute recess,
Okay.
so that he can get those matters.
So, item C's residents are taken from the residents to be ID'd as Commonwealth Exhibit 6,
Cumulative Exhibit
cumulative
6,
6, and autopsy
evidence
physical
from
evidence
the
would be
autopsy, cumulative 7.
ID'd as Commonwealth Exhibit 7.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
May we take a 10-minute recess to allow him to retrieve those items?
All right. Folks, need to go to the restroom or anything like that, we'll be back in 10 minutes. Leave your notepads on the seats or in front of you there. Don't speak to each other about the case, and don't speak to anyone
Don't go
else
nowhere.
about it.
We're not taking a recess.
Report back to me if someone's trying to contact you.
Only in the courtroom. We're skipping right on next to the next video. Doesn't the jury look refreshed? I couldn't imagine Jenny Penny. I want to squeeze James' neck so bad I can't stand it. He's not even killed nobody I love, so I can't imagine. All he's done is run his mouth, and I want to knock his brains out. Y'all throw some hearts up in the chat for Jenny Penny.
All right.
Okay, be seated, ladies and gentlemen. Have anything to report? All right. Hearing nothing, we'll move on. Witness Mike Cornett's on the stand, and we're ready to go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's all right,
Mr. Cornett,
Ricky,
just
they run-
briefly, you're no
You know you
longer
won't show
employed
up.
as civil, is that correct?
No, sir, I retired August the 1st of 2018.
Okay, is that why you didn't have the evidence with you? We had to take a moment for you to take possession of that evidence?
Yes, sir, the case has been reassigned to another officer.
Okay. Now, we had talked earlier about segregating the evidence into two cumulative exhibits, the first being from the residence, okay? Can you please grab the evidence that was collected from the residence location?
A little dark gloves. Give me a sec.
If you'll bring it over here, I'm going to have you simply read out what each item is that has been collected. You do not need to unseal any sealed containers that might contain various substances that you don't want to get on your hands. But as we read these out, Your Honor, my request is that the first item that he reads out be Commonwealth 6.1, the next be 6.2, and thereafter increasing in number until he is completed with the first cumulative exhibit, which would be from the residence. Just simply read them. As you read them, if you would, place them on the next ledge so you know what you've gone through.
Black cell phone and charger, take them in the residence of Ronnie King.
6.1.
Yes.
It's a brown camel hunting boot. Brass belt buckle. A blue Smith & Wesson 357 caliber gun box. A blue Smith & Wesson 38 caliber gun box. A silver digital camera in a black nylon case. A white pillow with bullet hole. 4 cans of ash, 1 from the living room near the hole, 1 from the couch in the living room, 1 from the bedroom, and 1 from the chair in the computer room.
And Mr. Corner, were those, all of the items collected as evidence from the residence of Ronnie King?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I'd ask that they be admitted as Commonwealth's cumulative 6 and noted specifically at 6.1 and thereafter.
Yeah,
numbered.
6.1 through 6.8.
Okay.
Any objection? No objection. All right. They're introduced as Commonwealth's Exhibit 6, collective exhibit or cumulative exhibit 6.
Thank you. And Mr. Corner, could we repeat the same procedure with those items collected from the autopsy medical examiner location? Please proceed, yes.
All right, ready to go. Burnt duct tape and sock off the left foot. Burnt duct tape and sock off the right foot. Duct tape off right arm. Burnt belt off of wrist. Duct tape off of neck. Eyeglasses off victim.
6.9.
That would be 7. This would
Collective
be,
exhibit 7. He went through them so quickly. Couldn't get them in decimals.
I think that what we should do is call that Commonwealth's Collective Exhibit 7
Mhm.
because it's several items and then list each one in that individual package as 7.7.2, 7.3, 7.4.
Okay, I might have to run through them again because it went so fast.
Yes, I think we're going to have to.
Let's do it once more, Mr. Corner. You're just a little slower. Okay.
Ready, you're on?
Yes, go ahead.
Burnt duct tape and sock off of left foot.
All right.
Burnt duct tape and sock off right foot.
All right.
Duct tape off right arm.
All right.
Burnt belt off wrist.
All right.
Duct tape off neck.
All right.
Eyeglasses off victim.
All right.
Only 6 on those. There's 6 items in there.
Yeah. All right, that would be collective exhibit 7, a 7.1 through 7.6. Correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
What will this be numbered, sir?
Court, Judge, if the court pleases, we can continue with 7 or we can go to 8 because those were all.
Is there another one?
However the court wishes.
However you want to do it.
I think we just stay with 7 since they're all kind of in the same place
Yep.
generally. Okay,
So
we're going to stay with 7. We're at 7.7.
Mhm. All right.
Projectile from victim's head.
All right.
Pulled head hair from Ronnie King.
Okay.
material from right side of head.
All right.
That would be 8, or you gonna go 7.10?
We can go 8,
8 on this one?
7, well, let's
I think
see,
we stay with 7.10. That would be my
7.10,
suggestion.
yeah, that's good, yeah.
This is the left hand nail clippings and the right hand nail clippings of Ronnie King.
All right.
So, 11 on this one?
7.
DNA card from Ronnie King.
All right.
Unknown greenish substance off chest of Ronnie King.
Could you repeat that? Unknown.
Unknown greenish
Okay.
substance
Mhm.
off chest of Ronnie King. On this form, I did not fill this form out. It came from, I think someone at the lab said bag containing lab evidence. It's from the sexual assault kit that was collected by the medical examiner. I think it's got several items in there. I can look on the lab report and tell you
I
that.
think sexual assault kit.
Item 13.
Item 13, Your Honor.
Yes, 13.
713. Sexual assault kit.
This is duct tape recovered from head. Duct tape recovered from right hand.
Okay.
Duct tape recovered from right upper arm.
Okay.
And it says post-mortem fingerprints and right palm.
Okay. That it?
All right, I just checked everything, make sure I've got it all.
All right,
I
sure.
don't want to cause no trouble.
7.14.
I got 7.17.
7.17. Oh, we did. Oh, okay. He went through. Okay. So it had, in this box, it had 14, 15, 16.
Yes, that's everything.
Okay. I got you.
It? All right, so we got, I've got 17 items, 17 items under collective exhibit 7, identified as collective.
That's what I have here. Yes.
All
Judge, I would move to have collective 6 and collective 7 admitted into evidence.
Okay,
As,
6 is in evidence. Any objection on 7? All right. Collective exhibit 7, which includes all 17 items just identified, is introduced. Okay.
Proceed, Your Honor.
For sure.
Okay, thank you. Now let's get back on track. We spoke yesterday about your investigation. You had been at the residence there in Everett, Kentucky. You've collected evidence. One of the things that you had talked about in your visualization of the residence were safes and other items that were still remaining in the residence. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, safes and lock boxes, various things like that that you had seen while there. Do you recall whether or not those items had anything within them?
They were all empty.
They were all empty. Okay. At some point in your investigation, did you begin to try and determine what was or may have been within those items?
After the initial crime scene was left and everything was closed down, I went to the sister's residence next door, 30, 40 feet next door, and met with approximately 12 to 15 members of the family and asked what was in the safe, what did he have of value, just trying to get an answer what I'm looking for.
Okay, great. Your Honor, that's all the questions I have at this point.
Any cross?
Yes, sir. I guess retired. I forget your title. Mr. Cornett.
Mike Cornett's fine, sir. I don't have a title anymore.
Mike, yesterday we talked about how you were the lead investigator on this whole case, right?
Yes, sir.
So we talked about how when you showed up, it was pretty much instantly determined to be a murder, right?
Not instantly, but shortly thereafter, yes, sir.
And you were the one responsible for collecting these items that were just introduced in evidence, right?
Yes, sir.
And we'll get into what you do with those items later. But yesterday we also saw some pictures from the residents and some other things. So I want to talk about kind of what isn't here. There was no, and maybe I tried to write down everything. But obviously the safes aren't here. There were 2 safes, right?
2 safes and a strong box, yes. I mean, a metal cash box.
And those aren't in evidence, and you didn't collect those, did you?
No, sir. I had the automatic fingerprint sent from Frankfurt State Police, came to the scene and attempted to retrieve fingerprints from those items at the scene. I was unable to recover any usable latent prints. Thus, I left them at the residence.
So there were no fingerprints on either one of the safes or the lockbox.
That's correct.
And yesterday there was testimony about blood. I didn't hear any blood evidence be introduced. Did you collect any blood from the scene?
No, sir, I did not.
Okay. There was mention of one of the safes having basically a 2-key system to enter the safe. Did you collect those keys?
No, sir, I left them with the box. It was a strong box, fireproof, century box, I believe you buy at Walmart.
And there was testimony about 2 pillows, and I only heard 1 pillow entered into evidence. Did you collect the second pillow?
The second pillow was the victim's head was lying on it. I saw no evidentiary value in that pillow.
We also saw a picture of a burnt chair with duct tape on it. Did you collect that duct tape?
I don't think I did, but let me look through my things here again. I read so many things that had duct tape on them.
I didn't hear duct tape from the chair.
No, I did not.
Yesterday, we heard about zip ties.
Yes, sir.
I didn't hear any zip ties be entered into evidence.
I assume it's on the duct tape that was cut from the hands at the autopsy.
Duct tape, belt tape, and eyeglasses. So
We
there's
can
no
open it up and
mention
look at it.
of zip ties there. And you didn't collect the zip ties that were, I guess, seen at the time.
No, sir.
So those aren't in evidence.
No, sir. I think they may have been photographed.
And then as far as DNA collection goes, there's a sexual assault kit. But what other places did you collect possible DNA samples?
I think Mr. Shell submitted to a buccal swab for DNA testing.
Okay. There were lots of, I guess, Mr. King had 2 floors in his residence. Did you take anything from the second floor and put it in evidence? I mean, from the bottom floor, the basement, I'm sorry.
No, sir. There was no sign that the crime scene went to the basement other than the floor, chair falling through the floor. It had a secure locked door on the basement.
And I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I know there's more evidence to be introduced. But just basically, you collect the evidence and you store it. Every one of those pieces of paper that you pulled out, that's at KSP 41, right?
Yes, sir.
And that has everybody that touched it, signs it, say they touched it.
Yes, sir.
And every piece of evidence we had there contained a KSP 41, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you can take that evidence and you can fill out a KSP 26 and send it off to be tested,
Yes, sir.
right? But obviously, if you don't collect it, you can't send it to be tested, right?
Pretty good observation. Yes, sir.
So, excuse me, I got a throat thing. I've been coughing for 2 days. Let me collect myself for a minute before I cough all over this microphone. Thank you. Sorry. And this, the collective exhibit 6 and 7, that's everything you took from Mr. King's residence and from the body of Mr. King, correct?
Yes, sir.
I don't have any more questions at this time.
Any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Is this witness still subject to recall?
Yes, Your Honor, he's still an active witness, but
Okay. That damage going ahead, subject to recall. May I call your next witness?
Your Honor, the Commonwealth calls Jesse Farley.
Jesse Farley. All right.
Jesse Farley's also a relative of Ronnie King, nephew or cousin or something. You'll hear in just a second. I can't remember. Of course, my memory fails me often.
Here for that step right there. Step right up here.
All right, are you Jesse Farley?
Yes, sir.
Would you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm that any testimony you give in this trial will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
All right, have a seat, Mr. Farley. Speak up loud and clearly, and go ahead, Mr. Farley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Farley, will you spell your name and introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the grand jury?
My name's Jesse Hobart Farley, JSSE-HOBERT-FARLEY.
And how do you know the deceased, Ronnie King?
He was my uncle.
Did you live near him?
I lived right across the street from him,
And where was that?
Kelly Street, 153 Kelly Street,
That's in
Everett,
Everett,
Kentucky, 408 to it.
When did you learn that he had been killed?
I'd got up there probably around 9, 10 o'clock that morning. I'd go pay some bills in Harlan. Usually I'm up there early, but I just moved about a year before that. I actually bought a house off of him and moved to Coxton about a year before that.
You bought a house from him, you all were close.
Very close, yeah.
A lot of family lived nearby. About how many?
Yes, my mama, his mother lived right beside him. His brother Ron lived right beside him on the other side. Me and my mother lived right across the street. We was all surrounded by family.
On that morning of February the 18th, 2013, did all the family gather?
After we found out it happened, yes, everybody's gathered in my grandmother's yard.
Did you meet with Detective Cornett that morning?
Yeah,
And did the family tell Detective Cornett, were you there present, and tell Detective Cornett some of the items and things that were in the house?
yes.
What did you know about the safe?
The safe, it took 8 of us to get it in there. It was a huge safe, massive. And he had old guns, money, old script money, jewelry. He pawned a lot of stuff, bought a lot of stuff. And
You say he would pawn stuff. He would take stuff in.
yes, he
and
pawned
pawn for
stuff. And
people.
he bought taxes. He bought people's taxes and would file them and pay them for it. He bought a lot of stuff. He was into that. He collected a lot of stuff.
Did he have any jars of coins or anything like
Oh,
that?
he had a lot of jars of coins. He had jars of nickels, 1965 and down. I believe he said that's all silver or something. He collected all kind of change and stuff.
What about pennies?
Pennies, nickels, you name it. Old script money, old paper money.
Well, now you all helped him carry that safe in. Had he had the safe long?
He had it probably about a year before that happened, somewhere around that area.
Had he been broken into in his house there any time before this happened where he was killed?
Yes, I believe it was about 10, 11 months before that he was broken into.
And was he home then when that happened?
No, I reckon it was at work.
And where did he work?
Eastbrook housing projects.
So when you met with the family, when the family met with Detective Cornett, you itemized and gave him a list of things that were there. Can you remember some of the things that you told him that were there that were missing?
He was missing guns. He had bought 45 Smith & Wesson. He had bought a hammerless Smith & Wesson snub-nose 38. He had some change missing, old money, script money and stuff missing. He had an old black snub-nose 38 that was missing, which he had for years. And he had like liquor. It wasn't liquor, like pina colada. He had like a wine cabinet. Stuff like that was gone. And
Any jewelry or gold or silver?
his knives, yeah, he had a glass case, a showcase, and a lot of that stuff was gone. And that's when after that, he put a lot what he had left. I reckon he moved to his safe and he sold his showcases and all that.
So we're talking about what was missing in February when he died.
I know a lot of that stuff, what our name was missing, but I don't know exactly what all else
But in that big safe, he kept things that were
he kept valuables, yeah, money, jewelry, stuff like that. Knives.
jewelry, like gold jewelry,
Yeah, yeah, it was real. He didn't fool nothing.
watches, or anything like that.
Watches, necklaces, rings, old guns, just.
And a lot of this free stuff he would take in for pawn.
He went out and bought. We'd go to Knoxville and Lexington. He bought, but a lot of stuff he would pawn too. People would pawn and wouldn't come back yet, and he accumulated over time.
Now, Jerry Mulkey, who's seated in the courtroom, who testified earlier, how's she related to you?
She's my aunt.
Do you recall when you all met with the detective, who did you all who told him that was the last person to talk to Ronnie King?
Personally or on the phone?
Well, on the phone or personally. Last
I was over there way earlier that day, but I reckon on the phone she said it was Kevin Dixon last to talk to him on the phone, or said he was at the door. She was the last to talk to him on the phone. So
identified Kevin Dixon.
yeah, if that was him, then he would have been the last.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Any cross?
Mr. Farley, to start off with, I was a little confused when you started talking about some of the stuff that you knew Ronnie had that was missing and on what day, because we were talking about two different. So I guess 10 or 11 months earlier, somebody had broken into Ronnie King's home and had taken his stuff.
Yeah, took some stuff, yeah.
And then you started talking about some stuff, and I wasn't sure if you were talking about stuff that was missing or stuff that was subsequently missing after he was murdered. Okay? So you start talking about a knife case.
He had several knives. And he had a display case with several knives in it.
And was that missing from the first robbery or from the second murder?
Well, the first robbery, there was a lot missing, and what he had left after that, I guess he'd moved to a safe, you know, and got rid of his showcase, which was glass.
And did you talk to the police or interview, or did the police talk to you after Ronnie King's murder?
After, yeah.
They did. And in that conversation, did they ask you questions about Kevin Dixon?
Yeah, they asked me had I seen him over there earlier that day.
You asked them, they asked you kind of if you saw Kevin Dixon over there that day?
If I had seen him over that day, yeah.
And did they ask you about Kevin's relationship with Ronnie?
No, they didn't. I don't believe they really asked nothing like that.
You don't think they did?
Not his relationship. I mean, there's friends. He come over there. He worked for him, and he pawned a lot of stuff and done stuff like that too for him, helped him.
So Kevin and Ronnie were friends?
Yeah, I mean, his friends. Yeah,
They knew each other?
yeah. I mean, he was over there. He'd go over there and work and pawn a lot of stuff. He borrowed money. To be honest with you, a lot of it.
Did Ronnie suspect that Kevin was the one that broke into his house 10 months earlier?
He never mentioned it to me. He never said that he suspected him, but he never knew who done it. I don't believe.
I'm sorry.
He knew.
Speculative objections. He's asking, did he know who broke into him? He said he didn't. Sanson, did he object on his speculation?
Yeah, I don't know how he would.
I'm talking about his interview and whether or not he said it at the time he was interviewed.
If he said that to the police,
Yes.
you can, okay, you can go there. All right, okay. Okay, we're good. All right, the defense is going to have a few questions.
My name is Will Seidelman. I represent Mr. Shell. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay. If I'm not talking loud enough, I got a little throat thing. Just tell me to speak up. And if I talk too fast, just look at me and tell me to slow down.
Yes, sir.
So far, we've just got basically testimony of you arriving to the scene. And you talked about a crime scene log.
Yes,
How many eventual names were on that crime scene log?
I don't recall, sir. I really don't.
Okay. My understanding is that every person that went into the crime scene would be on that log, right?
Yes, sir, the officer in charge of that, that log would be the one that would be, making a notation be his responsibility to turn it in with a supplement on what he did.
And if I understand you correctly, you got the call at 10:54, right? Is that what I wrote down?
State police got the call at 10:54.
And what time approximately did you show up to that scene?
Trevor Hoggum and Hensley arrived at 11:48. I arrived, according to my note here, I arrived at 11:56 hours.
11:56.
Yes,
And again, if I understood you correctly, once you showed up to the scene, it kind of became your investigation. Is that right?
yes,
So you became the person in charge.
I was in charge of the investigation.
Okay.
I'm not in charge of anything else other than that, sir.
Obviously, there was a fire there. By the time you got there, was the fire already out?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I think you testified that EMS workers were there and firefighters were there. And then it's a small town, so neighbors and family members were also there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I know there was a long lead up to kind of where we're going in the future, but you knew pretty much instantly that this was a murder.
Okay, guys, let's stop here for a minute. We may stop here for the night so we can talk, but I'm going to go back to the video. It was around the 6-minute mark of the video that where they were talking about the boots. Let's hear that again and see what they said. And then tonight I will try to clean this order of the videos up a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about it's going pretty smoothly up until that point, but we'll let me go ahead right quick and you guys chat for a minute. I'm going to go in this video and back it up. You'll probably see it because I'm going to leave the share screen on. I'm going to back it up and see if I can find that where he's talking about the boot in the evidence. Okay, just a minute.
I'm not that.
While he, the guy.
The gun that was collected.
And man, Ms. Wilkie?
Were you,
Duct tape and the
Okay, here-
brown camel hunting boots.
There it was, brown camo hunting boot. Let me back it up just a little bit more.
Simply start reading them. As you read them, if you would, place them on the next sledge so you know what you've gone through.
This is evidence
So
found.
black cell phone and charger.
Black cell phone and charger from Shelby Shell.
Yes.
The brown camel hunting boots.
A brown camo hunting boot.
The brown.
So, when Shelby was talking on his jailhouse love story, free Shelby stuff with Not Today, he said, I didn't have no boots. I wear a size 11. Ernie wears a size 8. They wouldn't even fit me. But he did have the boot. It was found on him. He talks about all this stuff that was planted on him. Ernie planted the gun on me. Ernie planted bullets on me. But what about the boot? Yeah, it is funny, Hakuna Matata. It's funny. All right, throw a laughy emoji up if you think it's funny that Ernie wears a size 8 boot. It is funny. It is funny. Oh my gosh. Let me It is funny. It sure is. He does have tiny little feet. That's for sure. Do you know what they say about men who have tiny little feet? They wear tiny little shoes. You thought I was going to say something bad, didn't you? Thought I was going to say something bad. Damn, my 14-year-old daughter wears a size 11. My 12-year-old daughter wears a 9. Of course, she's bigger than Ernie, I think. Like, honestly, Ernie's not a big man. He's not a big man in statue. In statute, he's just not. All right. So that's one interesting fact that I'm guilty of hearing from Shelby in jail and not paying attention to that. That was one of those boring parts of the trial that I thought, nah, that's boring. I'm not going to sit there and watch him unbox all that evidence. Who cares? But now that I'm watching it with you guys, hey, that's pretty important. That boot, Shelby says, he didn't have. He never had it. But he did. He talks about, that's in his discovery of or his motion of discovery, right? It's in the evidence. The stand, if Ernie is not a big man, how did he do any wrestling? Just curious. Oh my goodness. The wrestling world is full of tiny little people. The wrestling ring sits up 3 feet off the ground. So a 5-foot wrestler is 8 foot off the ground. You're looking from down in the seats and you think, man, that guy's big. Yeah, there's a lot of little bitty wrestlers. A lot of them. Tiny little people. Most of them are really good. Ernie wasn't that good at wrestling. he wasn't really trained the way he said he was trained. He lied about his background in wrestling. So, like I said, our friendship began on a lie. Like, that's how we met, was he came out to the wrestling where I was promoting an event and shows up out there. And, oh, gosh, Hakuna Matata. You guys are going to have a lot of fun with that, aren't you? You guys are going to have a lot of fun with that. I just know you are. Drop the link for Lady again. Is it not pinned? It's pinned up there, right? Let me go to YouTube and look. It's pinned. It's pinned to the top. Spooking on a liar in a murder trial. You got answers, don't you, Lady May? Let's hear them. Ask why he muted his Ernie Shell convo at McDonald's. It's pretty obvious. Okay, why did I mute it, Lady May? Because he asked me to? Okay. You got me. I muted it because I'm a murderer. My God, people are so foolish. That Lady May, I'm not going to sit and like trash talk you, but that's foolish talk. That's just foolish talk. And maybe you're one of those ones that if Shelby gets out, he can come stay with you for a while. Would you put him up for a while? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't last long if you did. He was out of prison. Let's see, he got out in mid-November, I guess, and committed a murder in February. So he was out of prison, what, all of 2.5 months before he killed somebody? So you was going to beat his ass, then mute it. Say, what? I didn't go down there to beat his ass. That's what you all wanted me to do. I went down there to confront him man to man. And I did. And I told him you needed help. Former friend to former friend. Like, I've loved Ernie like a family member for a long, long time. I want to see Ernie get help. You think I want to see Ernie get run over on the side of the road by a car because he's freaking out of his mind on something, or out of his mind PTSD or whatever's wrong with him? Do you think I want to see that? I don't. I hope he gets help. I hope he gets help.
Oh, are you online?
You said it, guy. Bye, bro. You dumb. Okay. See you then. Get on out of here then.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, this lady here, she thinks I'm a murderer because I've muted my conversation with Ernie at McDonald's. I'm a murderer. It makes perfect sense, don't it?
You didn't mute it, though.
I did mute it. I muted it. Ernie kept his off mute. Mine was on mute. So the conversation was played, but because I muted mine, I'm hiding something.
Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're doing that, because that case is never going to be opened again.
No.
Because the case is up in the
Yeah.
attic, and that district attorney has no reason to bring that case back down. Shelby stood in front of the judge and said, I killed Ronnie King. So it's over. It's done with. So I don't know why anybody's doing that. And exactly what he told Jimbo the other day is, if we thought you were involved, we would have arrested you.
Yeah, I would have been indicted. Hey, did you guys block her? Let's go ahead and add her to the block list because she don't need to be in here anyway. Let me see.
But
Looks like one of you guys gun got her. Did you?
But anyway.
I got her.
Did
I
you?
got her. I blocked her. Like it, and I give everybody a chance. That's what the mod meeting was about tonight. Like, we're going to give people a chance, but she doesn't want a chance. She just wants to be mean.
Y'all have to excuse the way I look. I'm cleaning house. But do y'all remember me telling y'all a while back that when I'm doing stuff, sometimes stuff pops in my head, and it's sometimes funny?
Did you just have something pop in your head?
Yes, I did. And
Get
I
out
need
here.
to say something.
Get out here.
No, I want to say something. Please let me say something.
Let's ask the people. Put a 1 in the chat
Can
if you
I
want to hear
say
what Mama
something?
C has to say. A 1 in the chat if you want to hear what Mama C's got to say.
I promise you it's
Jenny
funny.
Penny says you look cute.
Oh, thank you. I did CrossFit for a little while, and I didn't know if it was going to, I thought it might kill me.
She came home one day and they want to hear it. She came home one day and was like, I'm too old. I'm going to die. I'm not doing CrossFit no more.
I
And
had
said,
to
okay.
crawl to the car. Okay. It was time to quit, you know.
Somebody said you look gorgeous.
Well, thank you.
It was 616 Love. I said, don't worry,
Stop,
babe.
Anna. Stop.
Okay. What you got to say? Do you remember it?
Yeah. Scoot over.
Scoot
Let
over.
me sit in the chair for a minute.
Oh,
Get out of my way.
You want to take the captain's chair?
Yeah, this is going to be really funny, guys. So I was in there and I was thinking about what Jamie said yesterday.
You mean Bunny Hill?
Whatever his name is. But anyway, I just have a question. Now,
you know he's going to stream this tomorrow, right?
I don't care. You go right ahead, little buddy. But I was thinking, oh my God. I started laughing when Jimbo told me that he come back with somebody else's size. That amazes me. But anyway, Jamie, what man that you call a little man comes back with somebody else's size? But let me tell you something. Where am I, Jamie? Does that tell you something? Might tell you something, Jamie.
You're right here, but Jamie won't show up, will he?
But Jamie, tell me something. Are you gay?
No,
For some reason,
he's homophobic.
You wanted to know. You went out to find out somebody else's size.
He's homophobic, honey.
But anyway, that was what popped in my head. So I had to share that with you guys.
Tell Jamie it's okay if he wants to be gay.
It's okay, Jamie, if you want to be gay.
We support gay people.
But Jamie, I am 46, not 40. So, and for that lady that yesterday said my husband had to kidnap me, I was not kidnapped. I willingly got in the car. I was madly in love with my husband. So please stop turning my love story into something that is sick. Thank you. I tore something up.
You always do.
Bye. See y'all tomorrow, and I'll be good tomorrow, I promise.
It's Saturday, babe.
Oh, Saturday. Be good Saturday.
Well, y'all want Miss Mama C to close out the stand every night. What? Yeah, we do accept Jamie, don't we? It's okay to be gay. Like, it's okay who he loves. Like, it's okay. I mean, why hide it? I mean, you know, like I said, my daughter's gay. I support her. My wife's bisexual. I support her. You know, she doesn't act on those bisexual tendencies anymore. But thank you, Miss K. I know I'm not on trial. That's what they want to do is deflect. Listen, they know that there's absolutely no way. Pride Month is coming up. Yeah, my daughter's got a flag in her room. There's just a little corner of we got like windows support between this room. There's a little corner, so I keep looking in there, but like I can't see anything in there anyway. But she's got a gay pride flag, and Daddy bought it for her. So yes, we will. King of the Streets is on panel. Won't come on panel. Think I'm gonna let you come on here, Jamie, and porn bomb me? Nah. Good luck with that, old buddy. Good luck with that, Queen of the Streets. What y'all think? You think I should let Jamie on panel? Let's ask the people, Jamie. Hang on. Hang on, Jamie. Can you see that? Let me ask the people, old buddy. Do you guys want to hear from Jamie, or you just want me to just kick him right on out? He's screaming at something. I don't know. He's already screaming and cussing. Don't have a heart attack, our leaky valve. Don't have a heart attack, our leaky valve. What you saying? What you saying? You gonna send my $100 back, or you gonna come up here and meet me? Nah, they don't want to hear from you, Jamie. They don't want to hear from you, big mouth. Start your own live. Get your own people on there, homeboy. Send me that money back, or come see me. I gave you my address yesterday. I'm sure you still got it. I gave you your daddy's address. Come see me. Come see me, son. Jabba the Hutt. Ah! They calling you Jabba the Hutt, boy. All right. I'm on count 3, I'm gonna boot him. Ready? 1, 2. Bye-bye, Jamie. That was fun. That was fun. Bet you within 10 seconds he's live and going off cussing F and FFF. Anyway, hell with Jamie. Let's talk more about the trial. It is. And you know what? A very generous lady sent me $100 on my Cash App to replace that. So I don't even want Jamie's money back. And I didn't ask her for that. I feel bad for accepting. I've asked her to let me send it back. She's just a super, super good person, with a heart as big as the state of Texas. It was just, yeah, he was preaching something about homosexuals, I guess. But you can't have people believe that you actually, I don't know, follow Jesus Christ when you are so vile and vulgar all the time. Like, now Jesus will forgive you, Jamie. He'll forgive me. And I need it. I need forgiving. I mean, there's no person who hasn't sinned and come short of the glory of God. That's a fact. Yeah, he was backstage. I didn't let him up. Nobody wanted to see him. I didn't get not one single person wanted to see him. So I didn't let him up. Of course, he would have probably just porn bombed me and tried to ruin this, coverage of Shelby anyway. That's the way he is. That's the way he is. I could tell, though, he had freshly shaved his unibrow. I mean, it was slick right there, slicker than my bald head. Oh, are you messaging me, Jamie? Oh, that's cute. That's cute, Jamie. Jamie don't have my phone number, though. Anyway, let's go back to the trial, guys. What did we learn tonight? Any questions? Anything that I could possibly answer? You guys are seeing a lot of this stuff for the first time along with me, because although I have played it and recorded it, I didn't pay attention to it because a lot of it I didn't really think mattered. Honestly, with all this stuff that Shelby's been spitting out from behind prison, it matters. And his lawyer was right. It's going to hurt him when it comes time to try for an appeal or try for a new trial, because some of the things he said is contradictory to what he's been saying. So that's not good, Shelby. Somebody, not today. Are you listening? Camper, are you listening? You might want to go tell Shelby, shut his mouth. If he wants to really try to get out of prison, he might want to at least stick to the same story. The prank, don't keep throwing stuff in there. That makes you look like a liar, Shelby. Yes, his lawyer did. I can share the email. I asked her, does Shelby need to be careful in what he's saying? Can we play it? I'm paraphrasing. I'm going to look it up for you. I'm going to read it to you. This is between me and Shelby's attorney, his post-conviction attorney. Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. And I've talked to her on the phone a couple times. So, Jamie was doing the Ernie. He was giving me hand signals and barking, and I could see him screaming and cussing. His mouth was wide open like he was trying to eat, like trying to eat a big old 2-foot hamburger. His mouth was so wide open. I could see the fume coming out of his ears, but he wouldn't say nothing. Did my wife trigger you that bad, old buddy? My wife trigger you that bad talking about your little wiener? She told me the other day she thought about trying to go down to the dollar store and grab a can of Vienney weenies and come in here and hold it up. And I was like, I'm glad you didn't do that. Oh, here we go. Right, some good stuff between law. Oh, there's 6 emails between me and Shelby's lawyer. Oh, this covers so much. You guys ready to listen? Want to hear the email from Shelby's lawyer? Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear the email from Shelby's lawyer. Yep, he should keep his mouth shut and talking on the phone. They are recorded with not today. She will be in trouble too. Oh, yeah, and she's been coaching him. That's obvious. 15-minute phone calls at a time. And sometimes we get 11 or 12 minutes. And I know there's like a certain amount of that time where there's like parts that have to be disclosed and he has to agree to be in recorded and all that stuff. But some of those calls are only 6 or 7 minutes long. Makes you scratch your head, don't it? Okay, I got enough ones. Let's see. Sure, tomorrow sounds good. I think I'm pretty free most of the day other than a couple of meetings in the morning. There's not a gag order or anything that I'm aware of. Let me see what date this was. March 22nd. And there's still not a gag order, by the way. I know that the jails and prisons have rules about 3-way calling, but we weren't calling on 3-way. She was recording him and telling him she was recording him. But given that they record everything inmates say, I don't really see how it's a problem that, uses her name, just records or that you all play it. So, while I do get a bit nervous about any of my clients making public statements, particularly ones that I had no idea about, don't see any legal issue with it off the top of my head. So yeah, I've been talking to the lawyer. There's no gag order. Let's see if I have anything else from her that's pertinent. No, that's about it. That's all the good ones. That's the best one. Most juicy. Most juicy. Oh, yeah, he going to give it to Kemper. Kemper's probably in here as a troll. Like, Kemper's a professional troll. That's what he does. Somebody said he didn't do that. Like, okay. I've got messages from Kemper where he's teaching me how to be a good troll. Not taking a jab. Jimbo, he's a shell. They'll sing like the ocean and never the same tune. It just hit me. I know another person. Could they be stepbrothers because he ain't shut his mouth either? Old lawnmower boy. They might be. I don't know. Jen Hoffa. They say that the prisoner, that the man who we used to play the videos and voice recordings of talking to Ernie, the gay man who called Ernie a top whore and, sounded like a woman scorned. Well, they say he claims that he was there at the murder. Yeah, I got all the messages. You can't deny it. And that he's got pictures of him laying next to the body of the victim. But don't mention it, Jimbo. There's a gag order. Why didn't you just say, that's a lie, Jimbo? Don't mention it. Because that's what it is. It's a lie. Yeah. So Eric Rush claims that he and Ernie committed the murder. And that he took pictures. He's got photographs of himself laying next to Ronnie King's body. Now, you all know that if there were pictures of him laying next to Ronnie King's body, Ernie Shell would be in jail, right? Like she said, well, they're investigating 6 to 8 weeks and the grand jury's going to come down on him. So I questioned that immediately. Hang on, Jenny P. What part are you talking about, my friend? What do you want me to read again? But yeah. And so I said, who's investigating? What grand jury is investigating? What grand jury is going to bring murder charges on him? Where is it? Because Eric Rush is in jail in Tennessee. Well, that's where they claimed the grand jury was going to indict Ernie for murder. Well, this murder took part in Harlan County, Kentucky. Why would a Tennessee grand jury indict him? Nope. The part the lawyer wrote about no gag order. Yes, ma'am, I will read it for you. I had that right here. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right. Specifically, okay. She says, sure, tomorrow sounds good. I think I'm pretty free most of the day, other than a couple meetings in the morning. There's not a gag order or anything like that I'm aware of. Those are her words from the attorney of Shelby Lee Shell. Now, I've got a 12-minute call uploaded to YouTube that I have not made public yet. It's private. I've showed it to a couple of people. But in that 12-minute phone call, I call over to Washington County, Tennessee, where this gag order that they had the picture of said it was. And I asked them, hey, and I said, I made myself sound like an idiot. I'm like, hey, is there a gag order in this guy's name? Because if there is, I need to shut my big mouth. So they looked it up. Nope. No gag order. Eric Rush is in jail for some other charges, drug related, and identity theft related, I think, stuff like that. Not murder. But you see what they're doing. They're trying to make this big fake ass story up and make everybody think that somebody's guilty, except for Shelby. Could not be the man who admitted to it in my basement and then just a few hours later told me the exact same story word for word while I recorded him. And then pled guilty. After getting a hung jury, he pled guilty. I don't get it. It's a YouTube gag order. Got you, Becca. Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I mean, what they're trying to do is just, sling everything, just like Shelby's defense team did. Everything they can throw out there, sling it against the mud, sling mud against the wall and see what sticks. Because they want somebody else to be in trouble. Besides Precious Shelby, a cold-blooded murderer. Tomorrow, it's the next thing I saw on the thing. There may be, let me plug in here. There may be a couple of videos that I need to upload and put in the playlist and switch around. But tomorrow we're definitely going to hear from the coroner, Philip Bianchi, who also owns the funeral home where the videotape was taken. Now, you'll hear evidence. You'll hear the prosecution, the detective Cornett. You'll hear his testimony. You will hear the defense talk about Shelby accepts letters. Not today says that she's the only one that can take letters from him. And she told me she is now his power of attorney. So I don't know, if you didn't want it out, you shouldn't have told me. Especially after you're going to call me a murderer. No, fair's fair, right? But I'm not, and people keep saying this, and we talked about it in the mod meeting, like, people keep saying that I'm doxing people. I'm not doxing anybody. I'm not going to. I don't plan on it. I won't do it. It's not going to happen. I don't need to. I don't need to. You know what, Angela? They did an awesome job. Shelby Shell's defense, public defenders, by the way, did an awesome job. Kentucky Mom, like I said last night, let these YouTube creators come to Harlan County and ask the real people here what they think of the Ronnie King murder. We all know Shelby is guilty. Of course you do. He killed him. And for what? For what? Why? And people are talking, like what sense would it make for me to have any involvement in something like that ever? Like, that's just the dumbest thing. Like, it doesn't get much dumber than that. That's just beyond stupid. I don't have those things uploaded to my new laptop yet, but that's one of those sound bites that we're going to have. They think we're stupid, but we're not. We're beyond stupid. Yeah, that's just beyond stupid. Like, what in the world would I want to have somebody killed for? Somebody that I didn't know. Like, let's say you come to me and you tell me, like, right now, you come to me and say, I'm going to go kill the former mayor of Everett's. I'm going to rob him because he's rich. I'm going to laugh my ass off at you. Rich? The mayor of Everett's? Now listen, I've got friends from Everett's, but how many rich people do you actually think live in Everett's? If you've ever been there, there may be a few rich people who live there, but like upper middle class is what you would consider rich in Everett's. In Harlan, where I'm from, in Laurel, that's, it's a poor community. People aren't rich there. The Charles Xavier, who usually comes in the chat here, he's always talking about stuff in Harlan County. The other night he said something about Ivy Hill. That's pretty much where the rich people lived when I lived in Harlan. Ivy Hill. Not Everett's. No, not Everett's. But the damage is done. They've done a good job. Just like Ernie, when Ernie, talked all his trash and had Big Nose Bertoni call down or email down to the school, and, damage is done. People are saying bad things. YouTube's forever. All this internet's forever. Like, people are going to see that stuff and they're going to question it. Okay. Thank you. But when I die and I stand before God, I know I'm not going to hell for a murder. That's a fact. Kentucky Mom, that's what I've said all along. I believe 6 jurors did not believe he was guilty because of Ernie's testimony, and the defense was very convincing. Ernie's testimony with the storytelling, it's huge. Well, his credibility hurt the prosecution. I believe if they had a new trial, Ernie wouldn't have been called as a prosecution witness. They didn't need him. I believe if they had a new trial, the prosecution would have been able to vet or check into all these false claims that were made by the defense. The defense doesn't have to tell the truth. All they have to do is throw out theories. They can call them theories. And it's not perjury because it's a theory. They didn't have any witnesses that said they saw anything different happen. They threw out theories. Even in the closing argument, that looks like a 2012 Dodge. What do you think, jury? And we're going to watch that video. It's going to be coming up soon. We're going to watch it. I'm challenging you. When we watch that video, I'm going to tell you up front, this is the video where they say you see Ernie's car leaving the crime scene. I'm going to challenge you to throw up a car emoji, some kind. We'll pick it out when it comes, but I want to know when you see a 2012 Dodge Caliber. And I'm going to be looking for it too, because I haven't yet. I went nuts when I heard the defense say that. I watched the video and I seen a bunch of cars coming, but I didn't slow it down and look. And even the defense, they don't slow it down and look in their closing arguments. They say, oh, we're not going to slow it down and show you. But right when that plume of smoke comes up, and there was testimony saying that may not have been a plume of smoke, and that may not have been from King's house. You can't say for sure. But all that circumstantial stuff, because they don't have to prove it. All they have to do is give you reasonable doubt. The prosecution, as it should be, has a much higher burden. Hang on a second.
I'm sorry, Father. Do you have a charger?
I'm back. But as it should be. I don't know, not taking a jab. I'm not going to dox anybody. I don't know where he works. Like I said, as it should be. Absolutely. When a man's life is on the line, when somebody else's, even if it's not like over a murder trial, even if it's like with 90 days in jail, for somebody to go spend time in prison or jail away from the outside world, the prosecution absolutely should have the burden. 100% should have the burden to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, all the defense has to do is give you one reasonable doubt. One reasonable doubt. And that's all it takes. And it should be. And they did a good job. But I'm sitting here today, I'm telling you, Shelby Shell killed Ronnie King. He told me he did twice. He told me he did in my basement on the 24th, late at night. And then the next morning, he told me again on the recording that you all hear, cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. So I told you, you stupid son of a bitch. And then he took his life. Cold blooded. Cold blooded. Yeah, he convinced me that he killed a man. Now, if Ernie were there or anybody else, why wouldn't he say it? We heard testimony last night that says from the medical examiner, Ronnie King had a brain injury. He was smashed in the head. That explains how one person could do that. If you cold cock a dude and knock his brains out to the tune of a brain injury, the way you described the man was fighting him was real. You're right. Dude, and you guys haven't seen these crime scene photos. Trigger warning, yes, absolutely. Let's put it up and see if I got one banners here. Don't. Let me throw it up. Let me make one right quick. I didn't put the banner up. Here we go. Okay. Trigger warning. But yeah, these crime scene photos, the guys, he had duct tape over his nose, covering his face, covering his mouth. But just for a second, do this. Just cover your mouth. Try to breathe. It's sad. You're going to hear lots of medical, you're going to hear lots of evaluations on Shelby, like 3 or 4 hours. I know Jenny Penny don't do it. I'm just saying, like, you can't breathe. If you can't breathe, what do? You struggle. You ever been in the pool and went down further than you thought you were, and before you got to the top, you thought, oh my God, this is it. Can you imagine that feeling with somebody there with a gun? It's, and we're just now getting started in this stuff. I love to breathe too, Jenny. We're just we're just now getting started. You're going to hear from the coroner, and I had to cut out the crime scene photos. It took me a while to figure out how to do that in YouTube Studio, but I figured it out. I'm almost 100% positive we'll see Coroner Bianchi's testimony tomorrow. And thank you, 616 Love. Share that. But yeah, Jenny Penny, they didn't. The investigation sucked. It did. It sucked. The most important thing that, and I don't feel sorry for Shelby Shell. He's right where he needs to be. The most important thing that so many people are forgetting here, and I'm not saying these people here tonight are, but over there, what about Ronnie King? What about his sister? What about his nephew? His family? You really want to set Shelby free? What do you think they're going to think about that? The man who pled guilty stood up in front of the judge, told the judge how he did it, when he did it, why he did it. Put some hearts in the chat for Ronnie King's family. What about them? What are they going to think when you're trying to get Shelby out of prison? Not today. Matt Kemper. What about the King family? I lost an aunt a few months back with that horrible, horrible virus. I know you're not supposed to talk about it on YouTube, so I'm just going to say that word specifically, and we're not going to identify it. But regardless of what took her out of the world, like nobody expected to not see her the following day. And then she's gone forever. I can't imagine how the King family felt or feels now. Shelby does not look like Dixon. I don't know if they were friends. It was said that Mama Steph, let me put this up here. It was said that Kevin Dixon went by there. He had business with Ronnie King, stopped by, conducted their business, whatever it was. I'm not going to get into it. And left. Kevin Dixon's fiance was with him. And they went home to, I believe, Kevin Dixon's mother's house. His alibi checks out. They picked him up. He was never arrested. They detained him, took his vehicle in, questioned him, questioned his fiance, who is no longer with us. She's also gone out of this world. Thank you, Tanya. But they questioned him. They searched his car. He gave them permission. They searched his home. He gave them permission. Yes, he had an alibi. And he was there. And left. Thank you, Miss Lee. I mean, the only reason I was saying that about my aunt was just the comparison of, one day they're here and the next they're not, and you don't expect it. And that's just gut-wrenching. I don't recall knowing a family member or a friend who was murdered. I just, I don't recall that happening in my life, but for me, it would hurt. It would destroy me, but it would also trigger me in a way that you thought Bunny Hill triggers me. My God, I would want to exact my revenge. I would go after him. No question. Serena Smiles, they were very happy about the verdict. Well, not verdict, but the guilty plea from Shelby. Honestly, I hope to God they don't know about the YouTube stuff. I mean, I hope to God they don't know. Like, why put them through it? Why are you going to say that Shelby's innocent? Shelby didn't do it. How do you think that's going to make them feel? He stood in front of the judge and he pled guilty. He told when you plead guilty in the state of Kentucky, you got to stand up in front of that judge and say, "This is why I'm guilty." Otherwise, he won't accept it. He won't accept a guilty plea when you're sitting there going, "Well, I really didn't do anything, but I just want this deal so I can get a better sentence." That don't work in Kentucky. I don't know how it works anywhere else. Maybe somebody can enlighten me if it does. But to me, okay, let's say I'm accused of something. I'm going to get arrested for it. If I didn't do it, I will go to my grave fighting it. I don't give a damn what nobody says. I'm not pleading guilty. Never. Now, if I did commit whatever crime I'm being accused of, and I think by pleading guilty I'm going to get a lesser sentence, by all means, sign me up. I'll tell you what I did, Judge. Whose diaper are we changing? Y'all talking about Bunny Hill? Oh, I got me a new chair today, and it's so comfortable. That old chair, man, by the time I got out here on these live streams, my bungus was hurting so bad. Oh. Right, Serena. Even murderers don't admit it to a judge. Like, you stand up there and tell them you're guilty. You're guilty. In my opinion. That's the way I am. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm guilty of something I didn't do. Put a 1 in the chat if you agree with me that you're not going to say you're guilty to something you didn't do. They are, Thumper. They are. They are filling his head with, are you crying?
No, I want to know if I can have permission to kill just one of ours. Just one.
No, you can't kill none of our kids.
And I'm kidding. But I am kidding. Yes, I am. I am kidding. He's the only one that helps me. I can't kill him.
Somebody call 911.
He's driving me batty.
Which one?
Which one helps me do everything?
And that's the one you want to get rid of?
Well, you know, I said I can't. He's the only one out of 4 children that will help me do anything.
Molly helps.
Bullshit. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. I have 4 wonderful children. I have 3 lazy ones and 1 that helps.
See what I go through here?
Actually, I have 1 that's 80 years old.
My oldest son acts like he's an old man.
He won't drive, and if you feed him, he would definitely won't drive. So, you know.
Oh. They are filling his head full of false hope. And they're filling his commissary account full, too. Have you guys seen the screenshots? I believe they were taken down, but woo! A lot of money going in over there on that commissary account. A lot of money going on the books for one Shelby Lee Shell. As long as they fill Shelby's head full, Shelby is going to feed them what they want to hear. Oh, yeah. Like this Josh. I asked for that name to be taken out so Ernie wouldn't use it. So let's run and ask Shelby why. I already told you why. But now Shelby's going to use that name and talk about he was part of the prank, part of the joke. Okay. Keep throwing stuff in there. Keep adding stuff in. Thumper, I don't know what you're talking about, but if you're talking about them giving him money for him to talk, I don't think it's illegal. I mean, he's allowed to do what he wants to do as long as he's not on the 3-way call. Good night, Serena Smiles. We're about done here too. We're over 2 hours, and you guys have been really awesome tonight. Really, really active in chat. I know we don't get a whole lot of chat going back and forth when, especially not with me, during the Mama C is hilarious, isn't she? While we're playing the trial, but boy, man, this trial is eye opening. And like I said, I'm going to reserve my final opinion because I've been back and forth. I don't know what to think, so I'm going to reserve my final opinion for after I see everything. I'm going to listen to both sides objectively, and I'm going to try to pretend like I'm not the guy who, knows what I know about Shelby. Like, I'm going to try to pretend like I'm seeing it from another perspective. It's going to be hard. I may not be able to do it. Good night, Miss Lee. Thank you very much. But I'm going to work on a couple more intro, outro videos, and I've got some more videos for Bunny Hill, some funny stuff coming up. Maybe we can have a fun night in YouTube court. Hey, that would be fun. We may do that. We may pick out at random anybody who's interested in being a juror. We may pick out jurors, maybe 2 or 3 different 12-man juries or 12-person juries. What are you doing?
I can't stand here.
Are you wanting to show something?
No, I want to talk to you, but I'm good.
You waiting?
Am I bothering you?
No, I thought you was wanting to do something.
No. I won't be here tomorrow night, but I need to ask you something. Do we have to get a hook for that?
For what?
Well, this is all it came with, was the rope and the hook.
What is that?
That's
Shower
a
curtain?
hammock that I got the girls for
hammock
their
for the room.
rooms for them to sit in. I think they're going to get killed, but, whatever.
Yeah, you'll have to have a hook. If it didn't come with a hook?
That's the only hook it came to.
No, we'll have to get a hook to put in the wall.
Well, it hangs from the ceiling.
Yeah, we'll have to get a hook for the ceiling.
Okay, well, we need to get a good
That
one.
cord there is not long enough to hang from the ceiling.
Well,
nope, not at all.
Well, we have to get them. We have to get them a good strong one.
Okay, well, I'm wrapping up here.
What time are you going live tomorrow?
11.
Oh, I'll be home by then. I think I might be. I should be.
Yeah, you should be.
Tomorrow is my best friend's birthday. She will be 45, and I have to take her out for her birthday. That's what we do. We take each other, my group of friends, which is very small. We take each other out.
Jenny Penny wants a hammock. This is like a hammock for the bedrooms.
Yeah, it's for my teenagers.
Just to hang
They
out,
can
sit in. Is it a sitting hammock?
Yeah, it's a chair.
Oh, it's like a chair hammock. I'm gonna sit
You
in.
hang it from the ceiling for the girls. I bought it at Five Below.
I think we get like one of those strong bungee things, like the big thick ones. That it'll kind of bounce a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, tell her 10:30. I know.
I have to pick her up at 7.
Okay. So, but yeah, we got a lot of stuff to soak in, and let's do that. Once we finish the trial, we'll pick maybe 2 or 3 juries and see if we all come up with the same verdict. If we get a hung jury, if we get a unanimous jury, what happens? That sounds like fun. So, but anyway, I'm going to do a little work tonight, make some videos, and if anybody has any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I would love to hear from as many of you as possible. And I do hear from a lot of you on a daily basis, and it's very extremely uplifting to me to hear from you. And my wife, she likes me reading those to her too. So, I appreciate you guys. My mods, appreciate you guys. Awesome job tonight, as always. So I'm Jimbo. I'm coming to you live from the stand, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.